Each morning at precisely 6:15 a.m., Samuel Klein stepped outside onto his back porch in the quiet mountain town of Ashford, North Carolina. The air was always cool at that hour, crisp enough to wake the lungs, but soft enough to welcome the skin. Birds rustled in the trees beyond his garden, and sometimes a deer passed silently through the tall grass. Samuel would take a slow breath, place his hands on his heart, and begin what he called his gratitude walk. It wasn't power walking, and it wasn't exercise in the traditional sense. It was a slow, intentional stroll through his garden, down a narrow dirt path behind his house, past the creek, and back again. 10 minutes. 15 if he stopped to look at the moss-covered stones or trace the veins of a leaf. As he walked, he named aloud 3 things he was grateful for, every single day, without fail. At 98 years old, Samuel had become something of a local legend. He lived alone in the same house he'd built with his own hands in his 30s. His mind was sharp. His eyes were still clear. He read without glasses. He cooked his own meals. And when asked what the secret was, he always said the same thing. It's the walk, the gratitude walk. At first, no one believed that something so simple could be behind such resilience. But then researchers from a nearby university came to study the small population of elders in Ashford, an unusual number of whom were living well into their 90s in hundreds. What they found surprised even them. Samuel, like others in his town, practiced a daily ritual that involved 3 key longevity pillars: movement, mindfulness, and meaning. His gratitude walk checked all 3. Movement. Even a slow-paced stroll activated the heart, encouraged circulation, and preserved balance and coordination. He wasn't sprinting or running marathons. He was simply moving daily and consistently. That, the experts said, mattered more than any gym membership. Mindfulness. Naming his gratitude out loud each day was no small thing. Neuroscientists had shown that regular gratitude practice actually rewires the brain, reducing inflammation, lowering stress hormones, and increasing overall life satisfaction. People who practiced daily gratitude had lower rates of depression, better sleep, and fewer chronic illnesses. Meaning Samuel didn't just walk for health, he walked to feel, to observe the world, to remember his wife Ruth, who had loved the smell of honeysuckle, to smile at the sky and feel in his bones the miracle of being alive. That sense of purpose, even in the smallest moments, was what kept many people from slipping into despair as they aged. "I see people my age who've already left," he once told a local reporter, tapping his temple. "Their body's still here, but they're gone inside. But not me. I keep showing up." He hadn't always been like this. In fact, the gratitude walk began after Ruth died, 22 years earlier. The grief had hollowed him. For months he barely ate. The house was too quiet, her garden withered, his knees hurt, his heart more. One morning in the haze of that grief, he wandered outside in his slippers. The sun had just begun to rise, and for a moment the sky caught fire in hues of orange and gold. A bird landed on the fence, and the world held still. Something stirred in him. He whispered, "Thank you." It was the first thing he'd said out loud in days. He didn't know who he was thanking or why, but it felt right. So he said it again. The next morning he did the same. This time he added 2 more things. "Thank you for this day. Thank you for the sunrise. Thank you for Ruth." That was the beginning. It became a ritual, a tether to the world. Over time, his sadness didn't vanish, but it softened. He began taking longer walks. He cooked again, planted tomatoes. He bought a notebook and began writing down his daily gratitudes. By the time he turned 85, he had filled 3 of them. When the researchers interviewed Samuel, they asked how he felt this practice had affected his life. He didn't hesitate. "It gave me back my will, and I think the body follows the spirit." They laughed, but later admitted he was probably right. In longevity research, it wasn't just about genes. It was about mindset. People who lived long, vibrant lives shared key habits. They moved, they connected with others, they ate naturally, and they found ways to experience daily joy. Samuel's gratitude walk embodied it all. He wasn't the only one in Ashford with a ritual like this. His neighbor, Mrs. Lynn, aged 101, did Tai Chi in the morning sun and spoke 3 affirmations every day. Across the hill, Mr. and Mrs. Rojas, both in their 90s, wrote letters of appreciation to their grandchildren each Sunday. The town wasn't trying to live to 100. They were simply living well and with intention. As Samuel approached his 99th birthday, his daughter Grace asked him if he had any plans. "I'll take a walk," he said. "Same as always." That morning, she joined him. They moved slowly along the path, passing the creaky wooden bridge over the stream. The air smelled of pine and damp leaves. "Dad," she said, "can I ask what your 3 gratitudes are today?" He smiled. "Today, I'm grateful for you, for these legs that still carry me, and for time." They paused beneath a tree heavy with dew. "Time?" she asked. "Yes," he said, "because every morning I wake up, I get to do it all again." When he passed away peacefully at the age of 101, the townspeople planted a tree in the park and placed a small bench beneath it. On a bronze plaque were the words he often said to those who asked for advice: "Move gently, speak your gratitude, and keep showing up." Now, each morning, someone new walks the trail behind his home. They speak their gratitudes into the air. They whisper thanks to the trees, to the sky, to whoever is listening. And maybe, just maybe, they're unlocking the secret Samuel knew all along. Not just how to live long, but how to live well.